Welcome to CEC lectures. Myself Dr. Preeti Trikwani. I am from Department of Computer Science, Aryabhat College, University of Delhi. So presently we are going through our series of Java programming, and in our previous lectures we have established the platform that why how this Java language has been evolved, what was the major reason behind the kind of invention of Java, and what are the basic characteristics, and a very important of them which we studied what was like platform independency and architecture neutrality. In this today's lecture we are going to explore our first program of Java, and then we will see what are the different elements which are written into it, and then we will understand that particular program. So this is the first program, which is I can say it is just having a simple kind of print statement. I am just going through a line by line. I am just going through this particular program. I am reading this program, and then later I will explain this. So this first program says this is a simple Java program. Call this file example.java, and this is highlighted in yellow color. Then it is having class example, and within the curly brackets it is having again a yellow highlighted section which says your program begins with a call to main, and then public static void main string args, and within the curly bracket it says system.out.println, and within the bracket it says this is a simple Java program, and this statement is followed by semicolon, and then two parentheses are being closed, one which is being opened when the main has opened, and another one which is being opened for the class. And what are we going to do? Initially at this stage we are going to save this particular program in a file, in a text file which is named as example.java. Now why we are calling this as example.java? Because the example is the class in which my main is being written. Now is it necessary to save this program as example.java? As of now we can say yes, it is going to be convenient if we are going to do it this way. Otherwise we can do it other ways also, but I'll be taking this in some other lecture. Today I'm going to here in this lecture we'll be focusing on this structure of the program and what actually this program says. So as the first two statements or the first two lines of the program are highlighted in yellow color. So these yellow color is basically what I have written in this program. These yellow color lines are actually comments. So comments basically we can say are ignored by the compiler. They are just for the use of just for the ease of understanding. They are there for the user, or they are there for the programmer. Compiler is going to ignore them. So how are we going to how are we going to write the comments? So that could be kind of three types of comments can be there in Java when we talk about. So one is a single line comment, another one is a multi-line comment, and the third one is a documentation comment. So presently we are going through two of those comments. One is a single line comment which begins with double backslash, which says your program begins with a call to main in the program. So that is a single line comment, and if you have some lines of comments which is running on multiple lines, that means if I am going to talk about multi-line comment, so multi-line comment is going to open with slash and a star, and it is going to be closed as star and slash, and this is what is available in that program which I have just shown you. So the two yellow highlighted portions of the program are actually the comments. One is a single line comment beginning with the double backslash, which says your programs begins with a call to main, so that means compiler is going to ignore that. And the second is the multi-line comment. So multi-line comment is having its opening and closing, separately, and this is kind of a very familiar concept when we talk about the users who have already, who are familiar with C++. So Java also lets you enter a remark into the program's source code file, and these are the, comments which are ignored by the compiler. So two types of comments we have seen. Documentation comment we will be taking in some other in some other classes or along with some other topic. Now apart from that, the question comes up, is it for most of the computer languages the name of the file that is going to contain the source code of the program is actually immaterial, they are not connected, but actually this is not the case with Java. We will be exploring this case in quite detail also. So the name which you are going to give to the file in which the program is contained is actually very important, and here we have taken it, as of now we have taken it as example.java. Why? Because we have one class in the name of example. Now please also remember that Java is a case sensitive language. So if you are going to write class example with a E capital, and if you are going to write example.java with kind of some other or some other name, or basically we can say the name should be similar as you have given in the class. And apart from that, the next line says class example. So the term class example here is having two things. One is the keyword class, which is going to declare or which is going to be used when a new class is being defined, and another one which is the term example. That example here is an identifier, and that is name of the class. So I hope you are able to understand that class is the keyword which is going to start the definition of the class, and the name of the class here is the example, and the whole class definition including whatever functions and other members which we are going to put eventually will be between opening curly braces and closing curly braces. So class example, then there is a opening curly bracket, and then you have whatever statements you want to write into that particular within the body of that class, and then it is going to at the end it is going to terminate with a closing curly bracket. So yellow highlighted portion, the first yellow highlighted portion is a multi-line comment, then the second yellow highlighted portion is a single line comment, and then there is an keyword class and then an identifier which is example. Now coming to the next line which says public static void main, and within the bracket it says string args, and after args there are square brackets opening and closing, and this string args is actually being passed as a parameter to the main. And within this function, now you all are aware that body of a function is going to begin with the opening curly bracket, and it is going to be closed with a closing curly bracket, and within that we will be writing some statements which are going to be actually executed, that we will be seeing. So first of all I am going to take the line public static void main string args. So this is basically, as you can see, this is a line which is going to mark the start or mark the definition of the main method. And basically the main method as you all are aware is the method where your program is going to begin with its execution. So for example, if you have a long file, if you have a long source code file, so from where your program is going to begin to execute, that is the main method That's the kind of, we can say it's an entry point to the program. So all Java application begins the execution by calling the main method. So that is, one thing which is, which is evident here. Now, when we talk about this main method, as we have seen, main is a kind of function. It is having one return type and some parameters. So here is that's the case with this main also. If we talk about the parameters, it is having parameters as string args. Now, what is this string args? I am coming to that. Before going into string args, I am having three keywords before the function name main, and these three keywords are nothing but public, static, and void. So public, those of you who are familiar with any of the object oriented programming language, especially C++, you all are aware that public is an access modifier, and other access modifiers could be private and protected. So here we have used public as an access modifier. Now, why we have used this modifier? Just to allow the programmer to control the visibility of the class members. So whatever class member, here the class, the member of the class example is the main function. So in order to control the visibility of this main function, this public, the keyword public or an access specifier or an access modifier is being used. So when a class member, any of the class member, here I am talking about the function main, is preceded by public, that means that particular member can be accessed by the code which is outside the class in which it is declared. So for example, we have declared the function main inside the class example, but because your function main is being declared as public, that means the main function can also be accessed outside this class example. While the other popular modifier is private, which is just opposite of the public thing. It is going to prevent a member from being used by any code which is defined outside of its class. So for example, a member which is private and declared inside a particular class, only that particular class is going to be use that private member. Any code which is defined outside of the class will not be able to use that private member. So these all these things I am going to I am telling in detail for all those viewers or all those students who are starting the first object oriented programming language as Java, and who are not familiar with these access specifiers or access modifiers such as public, private or protected. So here in front of main we have used public because we want the code outside the class example to use this main function. That's why it has been declared as public. Now coming to the next keyword, which is static. Now please recall your previous programming language courses which allow you to make a particular variable or a particular, let's say class as or a particular function as a static. So what is meaning of that static keyword? The keyword static is going to allow this main function to be called without having to instantiate a particular instance of the class. What does it mean? So here we have kind of, we can say, defined the function main inside the class example, and we are going to use this function main without having created the objects of the class example, and this is possible just because of the usage of the term static. So the keyword static allows main to be called without having to instantiate a particular instance of that particular class in which the main is being defined. So here main is being defined inside example. We are not going to create any objects of the example, and yet we are going to use this main. Now the question comes up, we are saying that yet main is being used. Who is going to use main, and how it is going? How main is going to be used? So main is actually called by Java Virtual Machine before any objects of the classes are made, and in order to make this main available to Java Virtual Machine, we need to declare this as static. So till this point we have seen two keywords, which is public and static. So public, why main has been declared as public? Because so that it can be called by the code outside of its class when the program is going to be start, and we are going to use this main outside the class, obviously. So we need to declare that class as we need to declare that method main as public, and the keyword static will help us to call main, or help us to call or to use main without having to instantiate the object of the class example. So this is what it is, and main is going to be called by the Java Virtual Machine before any objects or the before any of these objects are made. Now the third keyword which follows in the line is public, static, which we have seen, and the next one is void. So void is actually a familiar keyword, we can say, which simply tells the compiler that the function is not going to return any value. So here you must have noticed that our main is not returning any value. There is no return statement having any definite value which is written inside the main. That means the main does not return a value, and Java compiler will compile the classes also that do not contain a main method. So here we have a class example which is having its main method, but there can be other classes also within the program. I'll be showing the example in a short while. That there are other classes in the program which are not having this main function. So the Java program or Java compiler, I can say, will compile the classes that do not contain a main method, but it has no way to run these classes, because when I am talking about running of these classes, there must be a main method through which the execution should begin. So public is there so that it can be used by the code outside of the class. It can be used without the class being instantiated, so static is being used. Void is being used because it is not returning any value, so no value, that means void. So public, static, void, main is the name. Now coming to the parameter. So if you can see what parameter I am talking about, so parameter is actually string args. So string is actually, I can say, the name of a class here. Args is, as you can see, is actually an identifier, is the name of the name of the array of the instances of the class string. Now please recall, in our C++ language or in any other language for that matter, for example, we are going to say integer a. Integer a means, so a is a variable which is being declared of type integer. Fine. If we say integer a and within the bracket, let's say the big bracket, I am going to write 10, the bracket which is symbolizing the array, the presence of array. So here on the similar lines, a string args and bracket, it is going to declare a parameter. That parameter is named as args, short name for the argument. It's an identifier. You can use any of the identifiers which you like, and this is an array of instances of the class string, and various objects of the type string store character strings, and how these are going to be, how and where this string args is going to be used, that I am going to tell you in a short while. And here in this case particularly, this term args is going to receive any command line arguments which is present when the program is executed. So when we are going to execute this program, initially I'll be telling you the method to execute the program using a terminal, and when this program is being executed, whatever arguments, whatever command line arguments I am going to pass with along for that execution, those command line arguments are going to be stored here in this args. So those who have studied C and C++, you can compare it with the file name handling. When we generally read file name handling, there we pass file name as command line arguments, and those command line arguments are actually going to stored as the parameters of the main method. Now, as I have told you that main is simply a starting place for the execution of the program, and a complex program or a big file may have dozens of classes, and among those dozens of classes, at least one must have a main method in order to get the start. So now the question comes up, are there any Java programs in which we don't have main method? So the answer is yes. Now please go back to the previous lectures and see that when I was discussing the structure characteristics of Java as a programming language, I told you about the internet programming facility which is available in Java, and there we have discussed about the term applet. So that applet, when being created, actually these applets are nothing but Java programs that are embedded in web browsers, and in case of applets we are not going to use main because web browser is going to use an altogether different method of execution of applets. My normal program is going to begin the execution with main, but the other applets which are web based program are not going to use this main. So in applet this main will be definitely missing. And when I am talking about the last statement, the statement after this public static void main string args, the next statement says that is system.out.println, and within the bracket whatever you need to print, and that is here the string is being returned as this is a simple Java program. Now how this is going to be interpreted? So by this time you must have guessed that the system.out.println is something which is used in order to have this statement as as the output on the monitor. So this is a simple, when we are going to we can say execute this program, how we are going to execute that we will be coming onto that we will be coming. So the output of this program is a simple statement which says this is a simple Java program. That means whatever I am going to write within system.out.print, and what is the significance of ln, that also we will cover. So system.out.println, and within the bracket whatever we are going to write will be taken as a string and will be kind of we can say sent to the monitor as output, and then it is followed by two curly brackets. One is showing the end of the main method, and after that the ending curly bracket is for the end of the class, which is example. So in this program we have seen what kind of the structure should be there with the program, and we have seen single line comments, multi-line comments, what is the how this main method is going to be there, why this main method is being defined with the two keywords which are public and static, and as it is not returning anything, we are also going to give it as void. In the upcoming lectures we will be looking at how are we going to use how are we going to compile and execute these type of programs, and then we will also see the significance of system.out.println, and also we will look into more details of this string args parameters which we have parsed. So here is a list of references which is being used for the preparation of lecture. Hope you have had a fruitful one. I'll see you in the next lecture. Till then, take care. Goodbye.